This life is all about branding. A lesson I learned from my children. So much of how we respond to life, how we show up, what happens to us, is perception versus reality. It's about how you brand it to yourself. We've spoken before that life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond to it. And there is a ridiculous amount of truth in that. But I got that lesson again, from my children the other day. And I've seen posts about this. But raising kids, most of the time it's just about branding. It's how you present the situation to it, It's not fish, it's sea chicken. It's not, a tagine, it's apricot chicken. These kinds of things is how you present the situation to it. It's not spicy, it's tingly. How you brand to children, how you phrase it, how you create this understanding of the situation, for a lot of the times will determine how well it goes. I want you to clean your room. That's a really boring task. Well, what if we play the pickup game? Who's the fastest to pick up all their toys? These kinds of things. And to be honest, to a certain extent, a lot of the skills that come from parenting, apply to ourselves. We need to start essentially parenting ourselves a little bit better. And I think branding and how you phrase things is one of those situations that, truly matters. Because I get people all the time and they're like, I hate working out. It's awful. It's boring. It's a grind. If you're presenting that to yourself and that's the story that runs every single time you need to go work out, how long do you think that's going to last? How long do you think you can keep overriding your desire to skip the gym, skip the workout, to not go do the work, if that's how you're presenting it to yourself? If you're presenting every single day, I fucking hate this, there's only so long that you're going to keep forcing yourself to do it, especially when, there are much easier, gentler, in the moment, more enjoyable options. You've got to change the way you perceive things. You've got to change the branding. So instead of going, I fucking hate working out because insert reason, boring, hard, uncomfortable, etc., present it as, another challenge. I love challenges. I am great at overcoming challenges. Another opportunity for me to get better, to work on my mental toughness, my mindset. Whatever wording and framing is going to work for you. But if you're branding and presenting a situation to yourself, even in your own mind, as a horrendous situation, one that you don't want to be a part of, one that you want to do everything you can to avoid, you're setting yourself up for failing. You are. So it comes down to branding. And we see that with everything, Workouts are workouts, but there is 1,001 different ways, with different names, from CrossFit to Pilates, to weight training, to strength training, to hypertrophy, to F45, to box gyms, to, rucking, to military, to SEAL fit, whatever the fuck you want to call it. At the end of the day, they're still all just workouts. It comes down to the branding and the emphasis and the focus points that you place on it. That's what determines how you show up to it and what attracts certain people to it. As I said, the same thing applies to you. I get people all the time where their opt-out excuse is, what's the point of life without a little bit of enjoyment or a lot of enjoyment? What's the point of living if I can't have the things I want? Well, my response to that is always, and again, it comes down to branding, is if you define that the only value your life has is the chocolate, the wine, the junk food, the sedation point, whatever that might be, well, one, I think you need to take a really, really hard fucking look at your life and the things that you truly, truly value. And two, you need to start, well, rebranding that. If the only joy in your life is having a bar of chocolate at the end of the day, well, we need to rebrand that. There is greater joy and satisfaction and fulfillment in overcoming, in taking on challenges, in winning the day, in doing things that you didn't think you could do, in putting in effort until you succeed. You might not feel that at the moment because you're so used to that quick instant gratification, that dopamine hit, that in the moment, I need this, that you can't see it and you can't feel it. And this is the problem with things like social media. This is the problem with, ready access to porn, to junk food at the tip of your fingers, that you can literally get it delivered to your door. Our ability to instantly satisfy and receive a dopamine hit is so quick that we've lost the ability to pursue things that will actually give us the proper dopamine hit, that will actually give us the proper satisfaction and fulfillment, because you're like, well, if I don't get it instantaneously, what the fuck's the point? Well, the point is that that's not real. You're like a cracked out monkey pulling a lever, going more. Instead of going, well, what are the things that are actually going to enrich my life? What are the things that are actually going to fulfill me? And most of them are, as I said, delayed gratification. They're things that are going to take continuous effort over an extended period of time. They're things that are slower, that require focus and not being, completely zonked out, that you have to be present in the moment. And if you're retraining the brain, you can start on things as simple as building Lego or building models or coloring in or, reading a physical book. Things that are slower and require in the moment presentation. But it also applies to, working out, getting stronger, being fitter, being the best version of yourself, making these choices. But again, we have to rebrand them in how we present them to ourselves. It's the same with nutrition and dieting. People are like, well, I feel deprived. Are you? Are you actually deprived? And this is the question that needs to be asked. It needs to come down to rebranding. Or are you just fueling your body? Are you choosing to fuel your body with the best possible things to make you feel amazing, to keep pushing you forward, to show up as the best version of yourself? That's how I view my food. I love food. And this is the one that people think, they're like, oh no, it's because you don't like it. No, I love food. I 100% know, without a doubt, that if I hadn't have made these choices in life, I would be an obese, alcoholic, drug addict. Unquestionably. I love all those things. I do. But I choose this. My wife is a pastry chef. Do you know how great a cook she is, or a chef she is? The things that she can make is just phenomenal. Absolutely fucking phenomenal. So I have to make definitive choices. But I want to fuel my body. I want to wake up every morning feeling great. I want to wake up and go, this is it. And it's part of why working out has the halo effect, that once you start working out, usually your habits get better. Usually your nutrition gets better. Usually those things get better because, well, you start to realize, well, you feel like shit the next day if you don't look after yourself. You start to feel like shit if you don't fuel your body correctly. So I look at food, yeah, I can still enjoy it. Yeah, we still have good food. But I look at the things that are going to fuel me to feel my best, not the thing that's going to give me my dopamine hit right this second. I want to wake up every morning because I want and crush my workout. So I want to choose the food that is going to allow me to do that. I want to wake up every morning with the energy to keep up with my kids because they go off like a rocket, like a bat out of hell. If I'm not firing at my best, I'm going to get run over by my children. So I make choices to make sure I have the energy and the capacity and the mental focus and fortitude to show up as the best version of myself for them. These are choices. I'm not depriving myself. I am fueling myself. I am enriching my life. I am making decisions to live my best life. It comes down to how you're going to phrase it and how you brand it to yourself. These are the choices that we need to make. These are the decisions that we need to make. So you need to make conscious, real decisions around what is the best outcome for you and how you're going to phrase that to yourself. Because perception is reality. If you perceive that all of this is hard, all of this is awful, all of this sucks, and you don't want to do it, and everything's hard, nothing ever works out for you, well, more often than not, that's what's going to be your reality. You know, as many people know, the placebo effect is way more effective and way more real than a lot of people want to recognize. You know, Joe Dispenza's got some great books on it, you know, You Are the Placebo and things of this nature. It is worth investing in yourself. It is worth making the choices to do the work so that you can be the greatest version of yourself. But it's also worth changing how you speak to yourself and how you brand these situations. Because I think it's time to start branding it as, I'm going to be the greatest version of myself. I'm going to do these things to be the strongest, fittest, capable version of myself. This isn't awful. This isn't terrible. This is exciting. This is wonderful. I love this challenge. I don't want to do this. Bam! I overcame this today. Now I feel on top of the world. How you phrase it to yourself, the branding that you place on your life decisions will also impact how you show up. So change your words, change your life. And it's time to start demanding greatness. I'll be back again tomorrow.